The interview may be over, but the conversation is only just beginning.
So grab a cuppa and come and join us in the lounge as we explore the ideas, stories and moments that have really stayed with us and what they might mean for our families, our children and ourselves.
Welcome to Raising Kind Minds.
Because your voice today becomes their voice tomorrow.
Last week, Wendy helped us understand what self-compassion is and why it matters so much for children.
This week, she took us a step further by helping us explore what self-compassion looks like in real life, especially when parenting feels messy, emotional, and uncertain.
We spoke about parenting from fear versus love and the tendency to rush in and fix things, and the courage it can take to soften, to pause and trust.
We also explored the voice of the inner critic and why it becomes so loud around parenting and how self-compassion can help us respond differently.
So today, we're discussing the ideas that really stayed with us from the conversation and what they might look like in real family life.
Welcome to Raising Kind Minds. This week we shared some time with our wonderful guest, Wendy O'Leary. She came and talked to us about self-compassion for our children, yes, but of course more urgently for ourselves. Catherine and I could not wait to sit down and talk through some of the gems. So welcome to Raising Kind Minds, the conversation. Lovely, Catherine.
Lovely, Liz.
Nice.
Here we go again. So this was such a juicy conversation, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Because Wendy has been working with parents and teachers and obviously the children for so many years. She just gave us so many gems around how to be with the children, how to respond to the children, how to...
It's packed with practical
It was so
exercises
great. And that embodiment, that living, breathing practice, you know, she reminded us it's a practice. And of course, her focus is mindfulness, self-compassion, and cultivating joy. So we've got lots to get through. Looking forward to it. Hopefully this will be really interesting for anyone listening to open the door to a new way to be with their children, no matter what age they are. And of course, she reiterated so many times to be with yourself. So learning to relate to ourselves in a kind and compassionate way, especially when things are difficult.
And if you missed the earlier conversation that we had with Wendy, then check out the link in the description below, because then you'll be able to just dive in. But don't go there yet. Stay with us. We'll do the debrief and look at the gems now.
Yes, because we felt that this would be really helpful. The reason we're having the conversation after our expert interviews is that we want to thread in our real life accessibility stuff so that if you don't have time for a full hour of podcast, you can just dip into those gems that, you know, the highlight reel really is what we're doing here. But also recognizing we want to share our common humanity, and this is coming up more and more with every conversation, isn't it? That it's a Me Too moment. Wendy made it clear, even with all her practice and all her expertise, she didn't have these skills when her children were little. She wishes she did. Likewise for us, I know. And she made mistakes. And this is actually what has informed her practice. And also there's a genuine authenticity around supporting others because of her real life experience. And we want this to be real. We don't want to do sugarcoating.
She also said that last week she went into preschool, early years class, and she was doing a yoga class, I think she said.
Oh, yes.
She said it didn't go well. But she gets to begin again and try something different next week.
And that's the beauty of
she offered her self-compassion.
Yes.
For not going exactly as that, what she wanted. and the difficulty and the pain of that.
Yes.
Disappointment.
And she talked about, when we do go out of our comfort zone,
Try something new.
Try something new. This is very important. We forget our children are trying something new a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Learning is hard.
Mm.
You get a bunch of parents back in a room and, I give them exercises to do that are deliberately tricky.
Yes.
So, learning's hard. And we forget. And teachers, I've certainly been in some
Can be fun as well, though.
Well, absolutely. But we forget that actually they may be out of their comfort zone a lot of the time and how that might be making them feel.
Mm.
And, ask an adult to sit on a chair for 6 hours for an hour and really concentrate and try and problem solve.
Well, and I think also, and you're probably going to say more about that being really hard, but I think it is really good just to let that land for a second, literally, because if we are learning something new and how taxing and how much energy that takes and how maybe unsafe we feel. And when Wendy was talking about, using that warmth and those soothing tones and speaking to children and really holding them in that safe space, that it's okay to make mistakes, that it's okay to feel uncomfortable. And of course, if they know that that the parents got their back in that respect, that they've got this almost, she talked about this self-compassion blanket.
I loved this
and how
so much.
The parent could be that self-compassion blanket, even just energetically holding them.
Yes, I know we're jumping around here, but there were so many gold nuggets. We'll weave them all back in. But she talked about how she has these lovely feeling rocks. So they're just little pebbles and they've got little expressions on, like an emoji, but a rock. And a child can identify very literally, that face, and we've used emoji charts and things in the past. I'm sure many parents have, and educators, to identify, what's really going on or how they're entering the classroom. But the idea of getting a little blanket, or she had a little dish with a love heart on it, and I put that feeling rock into my compassionate holder.
Mm.
Now, I just love the idea of just knitting some blankets now. So I'll have to get my knitting
just little
needles
squares
out.
Mm-hmm.
Just the little squares that I used to do when I was little. I probably still got that little blanket somewhere. And then it's that really tender, affectionate, it's okay, wrapping that feeling rock, because it can feel really hard. Those emotions can feel really hard. And that softness. And there's something really tangible, and this is obviously what we do in the Booster Way. We want to make it as tangible as possible. We're making the invisible thoughts and feelings visible.
Yeah.
And that's what she's done here with these rocks, these feeling rocks, and this holding container that's full of love and compassion. And, training our children and also the adults that are taking care of them that, this feeling's hard, or it's really difficult, or it's uncomfortable. Can we bring some warmth and kindness to that? It's I still think it's quite a radical approach, because that's not certainly how the English culture, we don't do the there type of thing. There is some really lovely peaceful parenting approaches and such like. There is more space for it now, but I'm a 70s baby. It was just, stop your tears, stop your crying, up you get, off you go. And I'm not saying sometimes necessarily that it was hardness.
It wasn't uncaring.
It wasn't uncaring, but it was just, come on, dry those tears, dust the knee, it's all right. And having a mum that was a nurse, there was a lot of, you're fine, off you go. And, there's benefits and drawbacks to all approaches. But what I really loved about what Wendy was talking about was the aspects of mindful self-compassion, the first step, seeing clearly. And I thought that was such a lovely way to describe it. We need to see clearly what's going on. And that's tricky. That can be really challenging as a parent because we're so involved and we care so much. And I'm just thinking about that lovely phrase. Let me see where I've written it. Parenting was the most important thing in my life. Parenting was the most important. It mattered the most to her. And I know if you're listening to this, that's likely to be you. We really care about our children and we want it to be the best experience for our children, and we want to be the best parents we can possibly be. But then, of course, she highlighted that's when her critic became the loudest. So
Crusher rampage.
Crusher got busy. And if you're new to this podcast, Crusher is our inner critic, our critical voice. And Wendy talked about, because parenting was the most important job in the world for her, that's why Crusher got loud. It's because we care so much.
Exactly, because it matters.
And there's the irony of it all. And of course, we know that if we are beating up on ourselves, our whole chemistry changes. Our brain shuts down. Everything contracts. And she talked about that contracting approach. We contract when we're trying to fix. We contract when we see our child suffering. It's hard. So the job is not to let Crusher get loud as best we can. Crusher can be there. And Wendy talked about, I see you. I see you. And it's not that Crusher's staring now. It's not that Crusher will ever disappear. Crusher's there for really important physiological, psychological reasons. It's part of our chemistry. We need that part of us to ensure we stay safe. But if this voice, this inner critic, gets too loud, then the parent is not regulated. The parent, the parent, it sounds very formal. But we dysregulate. We are not going to be responsive in the way that we'd like to be.
What does dysregulate mean?
So, we are more likely to be reactive. Our nervous system is not in a calm state. The clear thinking part of our brain will likely shut down. We will likely be stirred up. There'll be chemicals in the body. The stress hormones might be flooded. That's dysregulation.
Okay.
We're not handling
Not
things.
super calm and groovy.
Not super calm and groovy. And if we are dysregulated, we are only going to be modelling something that we don't actually want to witness in ourselves or our children. Now, perfectly natural. We will all be dysregulated sometimes. We will always, all of us at some point will struggle with a situation. Our buttons might get pushed. That's probably a nice, clear, simple way to say it.
I can relate to that.
We can, so relate. But if we can just take a moment and return to that mindful awareness, just have a pause, just a moment to bring ourselves back. Hang on a minute. I need to not open my mouth before I respond to my child right now.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. And it sounds so cheesy, and I can hear even my own head resisting that. Oh, take a breath. It's like, oh.
I know, but when a child comes to you and they're all upset and can't think, and maybe they're crying or maybe they're just really angry, or however it's showing up, dysregulation from what you've just talked about, then we do say, just take a breath. I mean, we tell them, just take a breath. Catch your breath,
Because
we forget to do it for ourselves in that moment.
Yes.
Often.
Yes,
we
exactly.
outlearn it.
Because, of course, usually if the child is hysterical, having a meltdown, there is no point trying to... Exactly. You can't understand a word they're saying. They can't articulate because that part of their brain has shut down.
Yeah.
It's all perfectly natural. So it might just be, sitting alongside them, just sitting in their space, being with them,
Mm.
and maybe creating that lovely tonal support.
Mm.
So, I can see this is hard for you. So they may or may not be able to respond. Sometimes we just need to let it take its course. But from a self-compassion perspective, we can model, we can show them, this hurts. It hurts me to see you so sad.
Yeah.
Because it does. That's the reality, isn't it?
Your truth.
The reality is, as parents, as foster carers, as educators, we never want to see our children suffer. We don't want to see them struggling. We don't want to bear witness to their pain. That's hard for us. And Wendy talked about, those mirror neurons. There'll be this empathetic resonance happening, and we don't want to feel that pain. Even an amoeba in a little petri dish will run away from pain. It's a natural response. We want to avoid it if we can. But what Wendy was sharing was, of course, that self-compassionate approach and being mindful as we see clearly, this hurts me too. This is difficult. My child is suffering. Oof. Well, everyone would find this hard if they were the mum, the dad in this space. Every child that's just, I don't know, knocked over their bricks or ruined their picture, they too would find this hard and might express it in this way. Then we come to that lovely opportunity of being kind to ourselves. And when we change that reactivity to a tender response, then we're giving space to our children to be fully human, for us to be fully human. I remember many an occasion thinking to myself, and I remember as the boys got older, one particular incident, which we won't go into right now, and actually saying out loud,
I just want you to go into it right now.
No, I really won't. But I remember saying to this particular son of mine, I have never been here before. I do not know how to respond to you and this very difficult situation. And if we have, that was actually me. I was quite pleased with that. I stayed, I was quite groovy. But that was after years of the inner work. I've done that inner work. But when my boys were little, that's still the same. It's true. Every stage of their growing up, I've never been here before. What is the best course of action?
That's where it's really good when we give ourselves that breath.
So important.
Hand on heart. She spoke a lot about hand on heart.
Yes, that somatic experience of receiving, activating the mammalian caregiving system, activating.
One thing I love about having a hand on heart, it actually brings my awareness back to me and invites me to include me in noticing the suffering. It's like, this is tough for you too, sweetheart.
And she gave us a lovely exercise, which you might like to try straight away. We were mucking about today with JJ, the wise monkey, and that was all about your bottom and your feet.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Seat and feet. Seat and feet. Give the mind a job to do if you are in a pickle. And we will be in pickles as parents. We will. Feet on the floor. What's this sensation? What can I experience? I like to do a little toe wiggling myself.
I'm noticing that. I can feel the beautiful carpet under my feet.
Yes, we've
under
got
my
super
toes.
soft carpet here. It's lovely. And then draw our attention to our bottom. Actually, I'm noticing my left buttock has got more contact with.
Mine does as well.
That's strange. We need to readjust. We're not centered. But we can return. Giving our mind a job to do is such a really valuable, especially when we're in heightened state. I do remember when we were working with a lot of the women in the women's centre, and they had experienced some serious trauma, and they're trying to be good mums. They're really doing their best to navigate some very dangerous environments that they were in and situations they were trying to navigate. And this particular, we call it soles of the feet, but Wendy's got an extra dimension to it by moving our attention from the soles of our feet to our bottoms, back to the soles of the feet, gives more of a job to do when you're in that heightened stress. But I remember it was like a magic bullet in that moment. And there's all these incredible women, and we're all standing in a circle in the little playground in the women's centre. It's like, oh, how's your stress levels now? How are you feeling now? Having spent a few moments really paying attention to your toes.
It's almost like all the stress falls from the head all the way down.
It's as far as you can go in the body, right down to the other end. And I'll always remember, this is why I love this practice, I wasn't thinking about any of my worries. I wasn't thinking about any of the problems. I was simply paying attention to the soles of my feet. And this feet, that gives an extra dimension of, focus, notice. So, for me, giving ourselves, it's brain training ultimately, isn't it? But giving ourselves an opportunity to recognise we can support ourselves in those moments of stress. And as the adult in the room, we need to be as centred, regulated, calm as we possibly can to respond in a healthy way. Now, we're not ever here. Raising Kind Minds is not telling you how to parent. That is absolutely going to be your choice. There's lots of different approaches now, and there's lots of fabulous podcasts and things, experts in the field. What we are here to do with Raising Kind Minds is to guide our audience to bring self-compassionate responding into the family life. And when we practice it, then we can model it. And when we embody it and demonstrate it, this will naturally feed in to our children's thinking and responding. And that's going to give them a gift for life. That will give them skills for life. And so many people as adults, especially in the business world, and they will talk about, the imposter syndrome, and it's so terrible and it's really difficult. Well, we can handle that imposter. We can navigate that so differently if we'd been taught this from little. If we'd been shown, I can place my hand on my heart. I can bring my attention down to the soles of my feet or seat feet. I can take that breath.
Well, we're talking in the Boost Away program, we often talk about curious conversations. We could be calling this a curious conversation. But it really is an invitation to try things out for you, to see what works for you. If I place my hand on my heart, and not just one time. The thing is about mindful self-compassion, bringing self-compassion into your everyday life. I'm all about the everyday life rather than just, only when you sit on a cushion. So we've got a hand on our heart. How does that feel? How does it feel in this moment? If I just be the best experiment for me, if I can be curious for me, what if I could just try this? Because it is dose dependent. It's not just a one fix.
No, that's right.
Oh, I've put my hand on my heart. That's it for the rest of my life.
We're sorted, like having a bath. You've had a bath once, you'll never need a bath again.
Topped up my mobile phone, it's topped.
It's topped. You don't need to recharge. No,
exactly. So,
and Wendy talked about by practicing, it gives your child and you capacity. And I thought this was really, really helpful. Capacity to ride the waves. Capacity to handle the tsunami moments. And we will have them no matter what age we are.
Well, I think Because that's the John Kabat-Zinn quote, isn't it? About you can't stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf, and you can learn how to surf.
And John Kabat-Zinn, if you don't know him, he's basically brought mindfulness into Western
Culture.
Yeah.
What I really loved, what Wendy said, was that with self-compassion, you can, I'll just put my teeth in, with self-compassion, you can ride bigger waves.
Yes.
So I thought
exactly.
that was very cool.
And we want our children to have capacity. We don't, I really always wanted my boys to be independent and be adventurous and go out and try things. It's not that I had any fixed idea of who they should turn into or what their career should be, but try it on for size, give it a go. You want to go on a play date? See what happens. It'll be fun. It might be fun, it might be boring. We don't know until we give it a go. Do you want to go and try rock climbing? Okay, that sounds fun. Could be terrifying. We don't know.
Especially if you're watching.
It was terrifying when I was watching. Hold on. No ropes, people. No ropes with bouldering. And my eldest still does this now. He's amazing. And yes, there's still terror in there. Anyway, having the capacity, I want to have enough capacity inside my head, heart, hands to still embrace life. I don't want to shrink from life because it's too painful, too scary.
Well, self-compassion gives you this bounce back ability because you can tend to yourself when in moments of difficulty.
And there's lots of research around, self-compassionate people are more likely to try again.
Or even have a go in the first place.
Yes. And as a former...
Here I am having a go at a podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for my self-compassion practice.
But having been a secondary school teacher for a long time and then obviously teaching in juvenile units and in prison and in the community, I've seen what happens when our young people don't believe in themselves, don't feel that they can do it, don't want to take a chance. And, some of our education culture is very much, can't make mistakes now. There's no space. There's always a test at the end. There's no space to get creative. And I feel quite strongly about this. So I won't get sidetracked. But it's going to be really important for a child to have that inner voice that says, you can do this and it's okay. You may make a complete buffoon of yourself. I've done that many, many times. And I always said to my students, especially teaching drama, I will never ask you to do anything I wouldn't be willing to do myself or I haven't done before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to look like a buffoon. We might look like a buffoon trying this exercise. And can we hold ourselves? And with self-compassion, we've got this, I think this is the most extraordinary gift inside ourselves to say, it's okay. And, like Wendy said, oh, that particular class didn't go well. Well, it's a new class. It's a new approach. It's a new set of children. And each of our children is very, very unique. You may have felt like I did, I've got this parenting, this discipline malarkey down. My eldest son, he could just give him a look and he'd be like, backing away. Number 2 comes along. No, don't think so, Mum. You can look at me all you like. I'm not going to help. I'm not going on that naughty step. I'm not going anywhere. And suddenly it's, maybe I need to start again. Maybe this needs to be different. And not to beat ourselves up. It's like, unique, amazing, spectacularly fabulous, different human being in front of me. Can we offer ourselves that?
Well, and even when that human being, and you've got it all sorted in that 1 second, that moment, then they would have changed in the next 5 seconds anyway.
I know.
They won't be. So when Wendy goes back to that class next week, so last week's yoga class, that group is not going to be the same group that it was because they would have had another week's learning, another week's life experiences. And so I think what I really love about self-compassion is that it meets you where you're at too in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
The practice can stay the same. You can still tend to yourself kindly. You can still breathe in because everything else around you changes, and you can still be consistent and constant with being kind and caring to this one.
Yes.
Who's navigating these bumpy waves.
Yes. And with all of Wendy's work, she has demonstrated that this isn't just prevention. Obviously our focus is that we want to prevent when your children get to teens, and into being a young adult. There's moments where we know statistically there's a higher risk of dangerous behaviour or self-harm, etc. But what I loved about what Wendy was saying was this isn't just prevention. This is actually, it's early intervention. And we can give our children from very young these skills.
Laying this strong foundation.
Really powerful. And her lovely book, It's Okay. It's such a beautiful book. I'd highly recommend you take a look at it. It's okay. And, we want our children to be happy. We want them to be able to handle the tough stuff. The tough stuff will happen. And she described, in preschool age, there's a very low tolerance. Frustration is high. And we want to reduce this habitual reactivity that will happen if we don't introduce a new way. And I think this is a really important point for everyone to consider. What are your habits? How do you habitually speak to yourself as a parent? Oh, I should have known better. I can't believe I just lost it at the kids again. Oh my gosh, what kind of mother am I? That kind of thing. Can you tell I might have visited that thought once or twice? But having that strengths-based coach, as Wendy called it, in your heart, in your head, saying, hey, that's booster. Hey, it's tricky. This is hard. And it stops that victim mentality as well, which I think is really powerful. Stops that self-indulgence that a lot of people think, oh, self-compassion, self-indulgent. Actually, it's the opposite. It gives us resources, internal resources to ride those waves, to handle the tough stuff. So I really loved everything that Wendy was sharing, especially some of those wonderful practical tools. One of the things I really would love to share is of course.
Oh, that was going to be my final takeaway.
Oh, sorry. Go on. You can talk about it.
Of course, honey, off you go.
Of course you're frustrated, sweet. I'm a sweetheart. I'm more of a sweetheart than a honey. And she said, this captures the 3 pillars of mindful self-compassion in one simple sentence. Of course, there's our clear thinking. There's our clear seeing. That's our mindfulness. Of course this hurts. This is really tough right now. You didn't get invited to the party. That hurts. Of course you're sad, frustrated, angry, whatever the response is. And of course, there's our common humanity. Anyone that is experiencing this, they too would find that painful. And then adding that little sweetheart or honey, that gentle pet name on the end, there's your self-kindness, there's your warmth. Straight away, there's the softening of the tone. And so highly encourage everyone to practice of course this hurts. Of course you're sad. Of course you're hurting. Sweetheart, of course. So I think one of the biggest takeaways for me with Wendy's beautiful, there's still so much richness that I think we could be here for hours actually unpacking this. I'd highly recommend, if you've got the chance, to have a look at this episode. It's really beautiful and inspiring and practical. Remembering that our inner voice becomes your child's inner voice.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, well, they can't hear it, they can't see it. Yes, they can. We're energetic beings, we're empathetic.
It oozes out of you, doesn't it?
It will leak. They will see it. They are very, very bright and sharp. They may not look like they're listening or watching, but they are sponges. They'll take it all in. So to be mindful of that. And also, I think another really fantastic skill is the I wonder. And we do this a lot in the Booster
Being
Way.
curious.
Being curious. I wonder what Booster might say right now. I wonder if Crusher's quite loud in your head right now. I wonder, would taking a breath be helpful right now? So we're not telling our children what to do, how to feel. We're giving them this open door of curiosity and kindness. And I think, Wendy just embodied that, didn't she? She really demonstrated how important our self-care and how we respond to ourselves in difficult moments will influence our children and how they respond to themselves in difficult moments. So yes, taking care of our nervous system before our child's. Oh goodness, there's so much there. Any other final gems?
Well, I will finish with a final gem then. So you've also resonated with, of course, honey. Of course, honey.
Of course,
that
honey.
resonated with you.
And we need to practice that more.
My final gem I'd like to share is about playfulness and connection. So one of the things that Wendy really advocates, and we do as well, is getting alongside your child and playing, using your hands. When your hands are busy, then, the head just calms down a little bit. And it's a really great time to be able to connect with your child, to have a chat, to, you've probably experienced it when you're driving in a car. So they're looking out the window, you're driving maybe, and you can really have some great conversations because the spotlight's not on each other. The focus isn't on the conversation. The focus is on the activity that you're doing. So it could be arts and crafts. It could be colouring in. That's why we love, the Voices in My Head colouring in book. So you're doing an activity while you're having those curious conversations or just touching base. You're connecting, and then it gives you the opportunity to have some compassionate listening.
Yes, and Wendy said, didn't she, this really opens the door beautifully.
Well, it also gives you the opportunity to have those curious conversations, inviting your child to explore and consider for themselves. So you're not being prescriptive and telling them how they should or shouldn't show up.
Yes.
So, like Catherine said, really rich conversation.
We're so grateful to Wendy and all the things that she does. I want to put her on a plane and bring her to the UK and share her magic here. But it's very aligned with the Booster Way, very aligned with, the message of when we're kind to ourselves, we're more likely to be open to that experience of joy. She's got these wonderful happiness cards now that she's created with Helen. There's just so much richness in her approach of gentleness and kindness and really validating our child's experience. And that, for me, I think is such a strong foundation in which to allow a child to grow and learn about themselves and how they want to be in the world.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, lovely Catherine.
Thank you. I want to go and play now.
You can in a moment.
Boost, yes. Please keep playing, my friends. Please do share this episode with anyone you feel may be valuable to them. If you know any of your friends or family that might be struggling a little, they may not be showing it, actually. They may not look like they're struggling at all, but they may value this conversation and the other episodes in Raising Kind Minds. So please do follow, like, subscribe, do all those groovy things.
Oh, and also review.
Yes.
5 stars.
Tell us.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Yes, apparently that helps with the algorithm and works its scientific magic. And we want everyone to know about self-compassion. This kind voice in our head, it's always there. We just need to cultivate it. And I don't want any child to have to wait till they were 45, like me, to learn these skills. I know, can you believe it? I'm 45. Can't believe it. Might be a little older than that now. So, my friends, take great care of yourself.
Thank you for joining us today in The Conversation, Raising Kind Minds, The Conversation. And join us later this week when we're going to be diving into a practice. So it's called Raising Kind Minds, the Meditation, where we dive into hand, heart, body, whole being practice on the gems that we've taken away from Wendy. So it's bye-bye from Crusher.
And bye-bye from Booster. Until next time.
Take good care.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of The Conversation.
We hope it's given you the opportunity to pause, reflect, and perhaps offer yourself a little more compassion in the moments when parenting feels hard.
And if this week's conversation has reminded us of anything, it's that children don't need perfect parents. They need parents who are willing to be fully human, to learn, to repair, and to meet themselves with the same kindness they hope their children will one day offer themselves.
In our next episode, we'll be slowing things down with a guided meditation, inspired by Wendy's beautiful invitation to soften, settle back, and remember that we are worthy of care too.
And if today's conversation has got you thinking about how your child talks to themselves, we invite you to take our free quiz. You'll find the link in the show notes. It takes just 90 seconds or so and will show you exactly what's going on for your child's inner voice right now.
And if this episode resonated with you, please do share it with someone you love who might need to hear it today. Word of mouth is how we're growing this community.
Here's to raising kind minds,
starting with your own.